I have to say, I feel like a rock star. This is amazing.
Wow, so many wonderful humans out there.
Not so skeptical now, are we, about psychology?
Love life and enjoy every moment.
So this is a photo of me at 8 years old having my first sip of alcohol. It was a face, if you could tell, is kind of a face of trepidation, but also one of deep love that grew me into a career in nightclub promotion, where my job was to sell as much booze as I possibly could to as many university students as I could find, and here I am in full flight in that career path. Now, learning how to communicate with young people gave me a specific skill set, and that took me into a job in advertising, where one day I had a brief that came across my desk which gave me this existential dilemma. And the brief was to take this federal campaign in 2008 and turn it into something that young people would resonate with. And I had this crazy existential dilemma that, what the hell am I going to do? I'm the one that's part of the drinking culture. How do I actually communicate something I don't believe in? So I decided to do an experiment where I'd take a year off drinking and see what life was like without the hangover. And this was my last drink on the 1st of January 2009, about 4 a.m. or so. And this year was to be an interesting experiment in which I'd see what life was like and the challenges that one faces as a 22-year-old without drinking. Part of this process was blogging each and every weekend about the experiences, the challenges that I faced, the interesting things that I learned, and each week this blog would come out on Sunday morning, and the name of the blog became Hello Sunday Morning. Now, it was a really powerful experience for me, and one of those experiences was doing all the things that I would normally do drunk, but doing them sober. For example, this, which is dressed in a Mexican wrestling mask and a G-string and turning up to a party completely sober and having an experience, and then sharing that online for everyone to see, which is a really millennial thing. Along the way, my housemate was like, or the guy on the right, he said, you know, I'm seeing the value they're getting out of it. I'd like to join. I'd like to be part of this. And I was like, nah, man, this is my thing. You can go do something else. And he convinced me, and I'm really grateful that he did, because it changed Hello Sunday Morning into something much bigger than my story. It became something that other people were part of. In our first year, we had 5 people that signed up to a blog to blog about taking a break from drinking, and this was the platform that we originally had. And it became something really great. It became something really important for a lot of people. My first drink after that year, the 1st of January 2010, was at the Bundaberg Hotel, and here I told this poor woman about the year that I was doing it. She nervously poured me a mojito, and it was a really great experiment. But the best thing about the experiment was I learned that this is my purpose, this is what I want to do with my life. So I quit my job in advertising, bought a van, as you do, and painted it Hello Sunday Morning, started driving around the country to understand the nature of our drinking culture and how we might improve it. I told my grandfather about what I was doing, and he told me in his thick Scottish accent, oh, binge drinking, your mother invented it. And I found this photo from the archives, which is my mum at the inception of drinking culture, I think, using one of Australia's other great drinking inventions, the cask wine. But I show this because it's important to highlight that we're not against alcohol, and I think drinking is a part of our drug-taking society. It always will be. But we've always wanted to build a brand that wraps its hand around the entirety of that drinking culture and makes it acceptable for people to have a meaningful conversation around what it means to have a healthy relationship with alcohol for them. And over the last 8 years, we've seen the rise of things like FebFast and October and a Dry July, and there's been a real shift in our community and in our ability to talk about it in this really great way. We've even seen a change in the way that government communicates it, where they've lifted our messaging. Also, what's happened is we've had this great profile around the world. So we've been profiled in the New Yorker and the BBC, and our membership has now grown internationally. So 30% of the members on Hello Sunday Morning today are overseas, and we've been able to grow it to the largest platform in the world focused on this problem. The challenge has been we've had a very different demographic sign up. We get people in their 40s, people that live in rural areas, have jobs and kids, and are mostly female. But most importantly, we're getting a much more complicated drinker. And about 4 years ago, the data that we were getting is that this is the World Health Organization scale. It goes from 0 to 12, and anything above 3 is an indication of risk and dependency. So this is our population, and we're reaching people that really have a challenge. So 4 years ago, we started to really invest in our technology. We started employing psychologists and drug and alcohol workers and released this program called Daybreak, which you can access all of that. Thanks to our funders, will be free to all Australians this year for the next 3 years. Thank you. The great thing about technology is that we can do this great data science on it. And this is some work we've been doing with Google where we can predict when people are likely to relapse. And with this prediction and all the features that have that prediction, we're able to actually allocate the coaches and the community to hopefully prevent when people are likely to have a problem. So with Hello Sunday Morning, it started as an idea, just a blog, an experiment, and has now grown into a team of 24 people around the world, people of technology, of psychology, all focused on one particular problem. That is, how do we build scalable technology to support people to change? And our mission is really simple. We want to make sure that everyone in this room will know someone or themselves will have a problem with alcohol in their lives. We want to make sure that our technology is there from your first sip to your last. Thank you.